Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, time for recap. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I realize I have not done a recap in a while since Wicked, so I'm excited to get into some new content today.
Yes, and I'm really excited about this particular project.
Same. If you guys did not listen to the end of our last episode, we teased it. It is a new series on Netflix starring Colman Domingo, Tina Fey, Steve Carell. It is the 4 seasons, 8 half-hour episodes dropped back on May 1st. Let me give you a quick summary. The decades-long friendship between 3 married couples is tested when one divorces, complicating their tradition of quarterly weekend getaways. Creators Tina Fey, Lang Fisher, and Tracy Wigfield, based off of the 1981 film by Alan Alda, also starring Carol Burnett. Cast: Colman Domingo as Danny, Tina Fey as Kate, Steve Carell as Nick, Carrie Kinney as Anne, Marco Calvani as Claude, Will Forte as Jack, and Erica Henningsen as Jenny. Reviews: Rotten Tomatoes, 78% critic score, 68% audience score, and 64% of Google users gave this series a thumbs up. Delora, what is your grade for the 4 seasons?
Ready. So my grade for the 4 seasons, it's a B plus. I had a great time with this particular show. A lot of my faves. I thought it was done well, but I have to say, towards the end of the series, I kind of got a little exhausted with everyone's dynamics because I'm like, can I get a reprieve somewhere? And we'll definitely talk more about it as we go. But can I say, I want to be wealthy enough that I take a trip every quarter? Like, what do you mean? Every season there's a trip?
Yeah. I mean, granted, some more extravagant than others, right? If one trip is like just someone's beach house or lake house, cool.
Yeah.
Fine
cool.
by me. But I love just the idea of the togetherness because these are long time friend groups.
I mean, college friends making it all the way to, as you mentioned, being in their 50s. That's a feat. And I think what I also appreciate about this group and their dynamics is they are truly themselves for the most part. Like, everybody is accepted as they are for them, with all their quirks and all.
I would agree. That's a great point. No, this is not like a friend group that you have to put on for. You can tell that they are real friends.
Yes.
And that they have real conversations and that they've grown together. They've grown up together. I agree. Mm-hmm. I also said, as we teased last week, that it seemed like an article that I read was trying to make it seem like only 50-somethings will really enjoy this series. And as a 30-something, let me just say, I loved it. I cackled on many moments during this show, even in possibly inappropriate ones. I was like, y'all are so unserious with some of this. But I love this humor, and I thought the cast had great chemistry. Spoiler alert, guys. Let's go. Oh, I didn't give my grade. I give this an A. So, spoiler alert. Let's get into the good of the 4 seasons. So, as the name implies, this show is actually split into 4 seasons. And we start with the spring. The gang, Kate, Danny, Claude, and Jack, are getting together at Nick and Anne's house. Nick and Anne are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. What did you think of that opening dinner conversation about soulmates. Are soulmates real? Do you believe in them? Do you think people find them often?
As the resident romantic on the podcast, I I believe in soulmates, but I also believe in proximity. We talked about this in our conversation with past lives, where when the study that was done, it was essentially like, how do people find love? And it's like based off people who are within their reach, essentially. You know, could you have your long lost soulmate literally on the other side of the world? Possibly, but when will you run into them, right? Like traveling, college, like how sway. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. And I think when it comes to, love and relationships, based off of my knowledge, we've been married double digits now. I do feel like you have to be with someone you can grow with and accept their growth as well as, someone who can love you just the way you are. Like putting on pretenses with somebody you've been with for a long time, I just find that to be very exhausting.
I can only imagine day in and day out. Lord.
Whew. Like I think Dolly Parton once said she would get up early and put on her makeup or something before her husband sees her. I'm like, I don't know if she kept that going. The last time I think I saw her say that was like in the 80s or something like that. But
may her husband rest in peace. I know he has
yes,
passed.
yes. But I know my husband has seen me in all ways. Okay, and the same with him too. So, and we still doing this thing.
I enjoy the idea of soulmates. I think it is definitely romantic, definitely beautiful. I think it's one of the reasons why I ship couples so hard in a lot of projects. Is I'm like, I just feel like I so clearly know who the one is. There's that extra zhuzh, there's that extra spark. I always like to quote from Felicity, the difference between Ben and Noel and that love triangle. When it was finally Noel's turn to try to have a shot, Noel told Felicity, I will never inhabit you the way that Ben does. And that is the line. That is the thing. And I think if you would have asked me probably even 10 years ago, like, do you think soulmates are real? Yeah, I do. But I also think that there's a lot of work that goes into relationships that have nothing to do with love, right? It's about so many other compatibility factors. And love may not be enough to push you through those to have a long lasting and healthy union and relationship.
And that is the key word, healthy.
Yeah.
Because it's rough finding examples sometimes,
Yeah. And once you find out some of the things people have put up with and had to withstand and deal with, you're like, that's why it's not great to idolize and put people on pedestals because you just don't know what people have gone through.
Exactly.
But I loved the conversation, and I think it was a fun one to have amongst three couples who have been together for a long time, right?
I agree.
And that some are more realists and some are a little more romantic. I loved it. So Nick, on a little hike with the boys, takes the opportunity to break the news. Again, this is him and his wife's 25th wedding anniversary, that he's planning to leave her, right? He tells Danny and Jack he's not happy. He hasn't been happy for a long time. And he's essentially grown bored of her lack of interest in living a fuller life. He said, yo, this is not the woman I married. I don't want to spend the rest of my life with someone who has to take practice steps to get onto an escalator or elevator, whatever he said.
That was funny.
Like she doesn't even want to go out on the boat. She doesn't want to do anything but play a game. And she's high up on the leaderboard, right? Why do you think he broke this news to his friends first?
I think he needed a soundboard. I think, again, speaking about the longevity of this friendship, they know him, they know her. And why I think it was a natural next step to talk to the friend group about his thoughts. And
It's
honestly, it definitely impacts them as well because they're a trio or what do you call a three couple?
thruple. That's not accurate, but
No.
yeah. Is 25 years a good run?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gets interesting when you're in that timeline though, because that's where the sickness and in health really comes kicking, you know?
Mm, mm.
It's like, do you want to be with somebody who, and that's assuming that person's actually going to take care of you.
Yeah, some people cut and run.
Some people cut and run, especially men when it comes to sick women and everything like that, which is a whole nother conversation. But you know, the dating world is so much different, even for us, let alone somebody who's been married as long as these people, you know, the way dating standards are for, you know, people who are actually 25, thinking about the apps and all that type of stuff. So
He didn't seem too concerned about that. He said, I need to be free. Okay.
I'm not going to lie, Anne was not a character I could root for.
Hmm. Okay. We'll have to dig a little deeper into that. But when I first was watching it through, I was like, okay, 25 years is a good run. You did a good job. But I wonder how much communication went into the dissolution of this marriage. Did we
And I
try
can guarantee it's
therapy?
like probably none.
Yeah. Did we do anything to try to inform her of what the situation
Issues
was and what
were.
he was feeling?
That's an excellent point. Is
Because
you
it seemed
know,
like he did things but didn't say things.
yes, I definitely can see that. Did they give it a good college try? That
Yeah.
is what you're wondering, and I agree. I do not think they did any of that. No,
Like
so
he
that's why
built
she
her the little
felt,
pottery stuff, but did you tell
yeah,
her, like, yo, I'm doing this because I feel like you're dead and you're killing me with you?
probably not. No,
That was disappointing.
because you also got to remember when you're together that long, there are some really bad habits that are hard to break.
Yeah, but it was so sad when he was like, I don't even feel like we're roommates. They make porn about roommates. You know, that was rough. I was like, oh, so that's y'all not even friends anymore, you don't feel like.
Right.
That's sad. And point was proven in his eyes when, again, they were about to go out on the boat. She didn't want to join at first. Once she's coerced, could barely get her to jump into the water. And then once she got into that water, baby, she could not get her ass back out. Like Claude had to drag her up by her overalls.
Why didn't he help her though? Like, I understand the point was like, oh, I need for her to do it
Because
herself,
he was
but
disgusted, Delora. He was
yeah.
disgusted.
And when I say Anne was a hard person to root for, I mean definitely in these first couple of episodes, not throughout the entire season. But I'm like, sis, I'm gonna need for you to do something more. But that,
I think what I found difficult was their dynamic because that's what we're first getting into. And for me, it was like she's just comfortable. She's been with somebody for so long that you are like an old fucking pair of pajamas or robe
yeah,
that she loves. And she
sinks
just,
into,
yeah, like she's
yeah,
just comfortable. That's what
yeah,
she is.
yeah. And to your point, if he's not taking the time to express that he's not comfortable, then yeah,
When
that's where the
Coleman
problems.
jumped into the lake with that fit on though, I was sick. I was like, don't you do it, black man. Don't you do it. Not in that outfit.
Well, that's light work. He dresses like that all the time. I'm sure he could.
Apparently. But I was sick. Anyway, so Anne has planned a surprise vow renewal for this anniversary.
Girl. I was like,
Talk about my
no.
baby not being able to read the room. The crew was stressed.
Oh,
Because by this point, almost
rightfully
everybody know
so.
what's really good. And they like, who's about to tell her? Jack up here checking his blood pressure and stuff, sitting with a wet towel on his head because he's so stressed out. But Anne is not oblivious, it turns out. Like, Kate ends up trying to have a little conversation with her, and essentially it's like she's not clueless to the state of her marriage. She may act like it and seem like it, but it's like, she knows that Nick is not where he should be, and this is very intentional. Felt desperate in that case, which made me sad for her.
I was wondering about that and whether or not she was aware in that whole speech that she gave Tina Fey's character talking about, oh, essentially he's just indecisive. He doesn't know what he wants. He's gonna want what he's used to, right?
Like his red BMW. But you can
Mm,
see the utter relief when Kate leaves the room and she's gotten that text and he's coming. Like, that made me so sad.
yes, yes.
Her
But
vows were beautiful.
everyone's all the friends group stressing out about this renewal, seeing the family and the friends and the kids come into town.
Said, oh my gosh,
That
she's invited everyone she knows.
oh
It was Colman Domingo, the holding of his hands over his face. I don't want to do it because I don't not be able to speak into the mic, but just sitting there watching this shit show start. Her vows were beautiful. Like, I was moved by what she said. And had I not known any better, I would have thought, oh God, this is going to be fantastic. And then you see the look on Nick's face, who was like, I have nothing to say. I'm going to have to fake this.
nothing. You see that one tear that fell? I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
He
the
was
indicator.
he was debating even coming back home, right? Like,
Yep.
he was debating showing up because everybody had left him voicemails telling him what was happening. He was saved by an explosion of that pottery barn he had built. Side note, Danny is a liar. Had his husband out here looking like a fool.
He talking about I massage the truth. Sir, what?
First time I watched it, I didn't understand what was happening. I was like, why is everybody looking so weird? Everybody knew but Claude that that was not their wedding song. But this was just compounding on the lies, right? He had lied about needing to go to Miami and wasn't going to be able to make his
Yes.
heart surgery that was scheduled for the next week. He didn't want to tell Claude at first about what was going on in the marriage. Like, if he basically says that he has to manage Claude, how did you feel
Right.
about their dynamic, their relationship dynamic?
Based off of Danny's character, Claude was like a stage 5 clinker, right?
He was just a nurturer. He was a
He
caretaker.
was. And I feel like I also wanted to just ask Danny, who hurt you? Because this man is literally your husband who is trying to take care of you,
Yeah.
and you're acting like it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in Danny and some of his choices. And Claude is gorgeous. By the way, I'm like, who would be upset of a gorgeous man rubbing up on you and making sure you're okay? Like,
Yeah, I thought Claude was a sweetheart throughout the series.
yes. He just wanted to be happy.
And make others happy. His energy was
Yes,
infectious to me. I love
I agree.
Claude.
I agree.
Cut to summer and the next group trip. Nick has officially ditched Anne for a much younger woman named Jenny. Delora, you talking about the dating pool out here is tough. This man said, ha ha, I went to the dentist, came away with a woman.
Listen, I was so pissed off. I was like, how dare they jump us into a whole nother vacation with this new chica over here? Who is she? Where is Anne? Why
Where
are
is
they on
Anne?
this trip? Like, loyalty. I was like, ain't nobody put up a fight on behalf of Anne. Who is this little girl?
Same thought I had. I said, how do you determine who gets to go? Like, is it a split custody arrangement where one gets them for one trip, one gets them for another? Why would Nick get them for the summer trip that they were all planning for back in the spring? And not only that, it's his girl who has planned this trip, right? They're at an eco
Yo,
resort she has booked.
Ashley, when I tell you I would not have put up with half of the things that they were dealing with on this trip. Being a fucking tent. I, I'm not 50 something and I would never, you would never see me out here in a tent.
Not even just that. There is such a thing as glamping and it looks
Yes.
nice. This looked
Yes.
like some bullshit.
I thought it was the fire festival at first.
Jenny does look like she would have attended the damn fire festival, don't she?
Yes.
I felt bamboozled and I wanted to know how much they paid to go to this mango shit eco-friendly resort. She talked about they reused the waste for the mango girls. I said, get me out of here now.
Listen, I love the environment, but
even George Clooney stays in 4-star resorts.
That is what I'm saying. I pay for convenience now for comfort.
Couldn't be me.
See, this would have been the other reason why I wouldn't have been able to go on the trip. You want me to go where? Well, who? No, thank you.
I think for a friend you've known for this long, you would have given it a chance. But as soon as I got there, well, first of all, I wouldn't even wait till I got there. I need to know what stuff looks like before I go places. So I would have already been Googling and I would have said, oh no, baby, let's meet up. Because I'm going to be at that 4-star resort down the street.
Easy.
I will see y'all for a meal or two.
And everything.
Mm-hmm. Y'all have fun. When they pulled them towels out and they weren't dry.
They had a weird smell to them. I was like, absolutely not. No.
All there are outdoor showers. I can't sleep because I'm sleeping on cots. When Danny told Nick, when you look at history, you don't see old ass men coming down on the floor to play with the young girls. You see them up here because you elevate
teach her a new way of living.
That youngster to your level. Nick is rich, y'all.
Yes.
Nick is a hedge fund, probably millionaire. And he got y'all sleeping amongst mango shit trees.
Crazy.
And wet towels.
Gross. They don't even have shelter for inclement weather.
Or a hurricane. Because this trip was a full shit show. Kate calling Jenny by her daughter's name. Jack flashing her in the shower. Nick
said there was something right there. Do you think he got caught, or do you think he genuinely was cleaning away the sand?
I think he was cleaning away the sand, but it was hilarious, especially Tina Fey's reaction, where he was like, you did something embarrassing too. No one remembers that now.
Nope.
Thank you for erasing my misdeeds with your worst misdeeds. Nick injures his foot trying to climb some shit, and Danny and Claude escape to that better resort where they run into guess who? And she'd originally come to confront them after seeing pics through iCloud because Nick is still on the family plan.
What a fucking idiot. If you're gonna be free and have this, it's not even an affair, but have this new relationship, you don't even have the know-how to know that your pictures are going up in the cloud.
But not even that, like your daughter has to see it too. Yes! Y'all not even full divorced yet. And in my mind, I'm like, you are such a man.
Yes.
Lack of attention to detail.
Exactly.
And then comes the hurricane. Okay. Anne was kind enough to let them into her room. Her solo vacation, though, that had been a bit rough because that shut down by her surf instructor.
Yeah. But again, had a hard time rooting for her because I'm like, sis, are you this awkward and like helpless?
Some people are awkward though. Some people are awkward. I liked Anne. I found her like endearing. Like she was like a little Yorkie or something.
she gave me Eeyore vibes. She just seemed very sad and just very like you said, mopey.
She's funny though. Like I think it's because it's a comedy. She humors me. Like even when she out on the little outfit at the pool, he's like, "What do you have under this? Pajamas and a hoodie." Like, Anne, what you doing? But I think Anne is also one of those women, not to psychoanalyze her, where again, she's reached a level of such comfort in her life. I think she's lost her identity a bit and
Yeah.
she's needing to recover it. That's why when she started breaking all that strawberry shit, I was happy for her because I'm like, you let something become a part of your identity you don't even like.
Girl, first of all, I don't know if I get that. That must be part of that generation because I'm very like, thank you, but strawberries aren't my thing. I think the only time something remotely close happened was I got one plant, and then somebody saw a plant in my house, and then my parents started buying me plants for like all the special occasions. I'm like, when did I become a plant mom? What? Like seriously?
Well, it was forced upon me too. And now I really am a plant mom. I speak
I
to
am
my
too.
plants and everything.
I got two today from work.
Yeah.
We had a plant event and I got two beauties.
I mean, I think it's different. So sometimes people put you onto things that you do fall in love with. And then some things like the strawberry thing, it's like, I think because it was a part of like her being postpartum and all these things, maybe she just let it stick with her and then
Mm-hmm.
just didn't realize how much she despised it until the day came. She was like, why is all my stuff strawberries? And I'm paying too much because that look that she gave when she bought the strawberry thing from the gift store looked like she's overpaying for all this stuff anyway. That she ain't gonna ever do anything with. It's gonna sit and collect dust in her home. So that was my thing with Anne. I felt like I wanted to see her get her groove back. That's for damn sure. It wasn't gonna be with the little surf instructor, but
No.
I'm definitely Danny and Claude though, going to the resort life, enjoying. But Claude was
Period.
getting on Danny's last nerve. Again, he had had this heart surgery. He was feeling really smothered. My question to you is, do you think that Anne and Nick's divorce was a catalyst for fractures in the marriages of these other two couples?
No, I don't. I think I wouldn't call them fractures, but maybe a mirror. Like Danny was already doing his own thing, lying about not, getting the surgery. And honestly, so much so that when Claude was trying to enter into like the medical charts and stuff like that, I'm like, no, and Danny, he probably lied about the password or changed it. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yep.
With Tina Fey's relationship, again, Jack was so freaking whiny. I'm like, he's a hypochondriac to begin with, right? And he just seems so whiny to me all the time. I'm like, sir, no wonder she's always doing stuff. Like you're always like somewhere complaining. Like I I think if anything, I don't know if it caused the fracture, but I think it just was a good reflection of like, hey, our relationship isn't perfect and this is becoming exacerbated as the show went on.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the effect of Nick in particular when he admitted that he's never been happier. Because remember, Kate had seen him crying and she thought he was crying because he had realized he made a mistake and he was crying, just thanking God that he was living his best life. And was
Yeah.
like, when's the last time y'all can say that y'all were happy? And it was like, oh, damn, are we happy? Is this a good marriage? Is this, and is this that? So I don't know if I'd call it fractures either, more so ripples, because it's like once you see the dissolution of one close friend's marriage, I do think it causes like examination and thoughtfulness. And more so to me, Kate and Jack than Claude and Danny. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
Danny's issue is Danny. Like,
Yeah.
I think Danny's issue in his marriage is Danny.
Yeah.
Fall time. It's family weekend at the gang's alma mater. Nick, for whatever delusional reason, decides to bring Jenny.
Again, this is such a man move. I'm just like, you didn't think to have a conversation
In
with your
private,
daughter?
because he did,
Like,
but in front of Jenny.
exactly.
Yeah, to
Could you
say his daughter
be
was
that
unhappy was an understatement.
oblivious?
Yes, 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 he was. Yes, he was. He was like, I asked her. You were there. Like, well, then no shit. She was trying to be kind, probably, and not, rage in Jenny's face at the moment, but not happy. She wrote a play. And to quote the opening line, once upon a time, my dad destroyed our family and started dating a stupid bitch.
This by far was the best thing of this entire series for me.
I died.
Ashley, when the man playing Nick said, the penis wants what it wants, while packing up his bags, I was
The cherry on top, my second watch too, was remembering that she had them go with her to purchase the props
yes,
for the production.
yes.
Nick over here thinking they bonding. Little does he know she's about to destroy that bookshelf that y'all picked out with her. It was so poetic to me. For every child of divorce that has ever felt a sting of this was so satisfying. Thank you, Tina
Ashley,
Fey.
Ashley, when the father shows back up on stage with the girlfriend, it's a blow
Blow
up
up
doll.
doll. It's a blow up doll.
Smith.
Why did she make her mother a witch?
Witch. I was asking the same question. And I felt like, okay, what is she going to do with this? But I don't think she ultimately did anything significant about it. You know what I mean? Like she didn't make her evil or anything like that.
No.
I thought that was an interesting choice as well. I have no idea.
I think maybe it kind of comes out later when she said, Mom, you destroyed mom. She's broken. Maybe it was symbolic of that, of like, she's not a woman anymore because of the damage that her father has done to her and to their relationship. But uh, I feel like the great thing about her showing out in this way, because to a certain extent, if I was a parent, I'd be like, she's showing her ass right now. This is wild.
Period.
Um, is that
Absolutely.
it forced a real conversation. It forced them to not just try to sweep this under the rug, because that's what Nick wanted to do. Nick
But
wanted to
he
move
still was
through.
missing the fucking mark though.
Yeah.
And I was like, again, he is just seriously this oblivious, but apparently the penis wasn't what it was.
But
Because
once
that's
they
what it seems
did
like.
spend time together, just the two of them, because he was smart enough after a couple run ins and a talk that Anne had to have with them both at breakfast, to realize, like, yo, we probably need to talk this out a little bit more. I do feel like it was productive and it was helpful because, especially his point about, like, he had that moment with his parents and he realized that they were just flawed people. I don't think a lot of us get to that point until we are full grown adults and we stop looking at our parents as our parents and see them as just two people.
Human. Right.
Just two
But
people.
some people don't make it that far, I feel like sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I knew something was up though with her daughter because the first time we meet her, she's all bright and
Makeup and everything.
bubbly.
Yes.
Yes.
And now
We
she's got
see
a
her
nose,
it
septum piercing.
dark eyeliner and yeah, it's some issues about to hit the fan for sure.
Agreed. Agreed. Great call out on that one. Also, I just want to say that I did feel bad for Jenny because this was not the affair that broke the marriage and all these things. Like, Jenny is essentially collateral damage in the emotions and feelings of this family dynamic.
I just needed her to be a little bit more self-aware too, because even if she wasn't the catalyst, I think she has enough emotional intelligence to be like, how about you spend time with your daughter first and then I'll come in after? but being force fed without spending quality time or without them hashing it out was a recipe for disaster to begin with.
Yeah,
And
and
he deserved this fallout.
I think she was trying in her own way, but being that she's 32 and he's 50, I think she wasn't pushing back hard enough on the thoughts that she had. She does that a few times in this series. She defers to them because they're older than her, and she's not a child. 32 is not a child. She's a grown ass woman.
Exactly. Exactly.
They were treating her sometime when she was like 16. I'm like, that's a grown ass woman right there. Y'all know that, right? Anyway, Danny and Claude and Kate and Jack are hitting bumps during this fall trip. Danny and Claude, again, Danny's being Danny, right? And Claude has had enough of it. Danny had gone and taken a job in Texas for 3 months after that summer trip, so they haven't even been together. And this was all again because he felt like he was being smothered. They had a blow up at a party with him doing some cocaine. That was funny when Kate thought that was their first time and they gave her that look. I forgot about
That
that.
was
That was
so
hilarious.
funny. Well, I mean, they kept telling her, like, hey, we got hot friends, hot gay friends.
Yeah, like we've lived,
look-
Kate. We've lived.
Yes, exactly.
But so he's been away living his best life. And then now Kate and Jack, Jack's thinking this family weekend is going to be romantic. And Kate's like, yo, I'm trying to spend time with my friends who I haven't seen in some months. You know what? Can I live?
I have a sore stomach.
I have a sour stomach. How is that code for let's do it?
Far from it. Far from it. Let me tell you.
What were your thoughts on the relationship issues that they were dealing with on this trip?
It was bubbling over. Claude was sick of Danny's shit, rightfully so. I think it was interesting that his approach was like, oh, if I'm just the happy place, if I make sure he feels good and we do the things he wants, then, all things are good. I'm like, oh no, this is how you got into the situation in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, you do need to air some of this stuff out. Now, I thought it was an inopportune time to do it in front of a third party. And then again with Kate and Jack again, there's always something wrong with him. And so I don't blame Kate for not picking up any of those signals whatsoever on, having sexy time, because it's like, what do you mean?
I think with Danny and Claude at this point in the series, what I was struggling with a bit was perception. I didn't like the idea that Danny tried to keep downplaying Claude's feelings as dramatic, or like he just lives in this thing that's of his own creation. You know how he is.
Yeah.
You're trying to diminish his feelings,
right,
when in reality you are like it was very manipulative. Do you know what I mean?
He's gaslighting Claude.
Like I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it.
I agree. And like, yes, can Claude be dramatic? Yes. But Claude's feelings were very valid, because at the end of the day, he just wanted you to be okay. He's worried about your health, sir.
But it's one of those things too of like, you do something and then all you want to do is talk about the reaction instead of what caused the reaction.
Yes.
What?
Yep.
He's one of those people where if he went to therapy, he would convince his therapist that Claude is the issue in their marriage, and us being omnipotent because we're watching it, we know the truth, right? That's BS. And then with with Kate and Jack, I did feel for Jack a little bit in the sense of like, yeah, don't let the romance die, Kate. But at the same time, I think she was feeling like, I'm tired of having to be your caretaker. So I don't even feel like having sexy time because I always have to do everything and take care of everything. And it's like having another child, right? And she said so poignantly, everybody else gets the best of you. Where's that guy? Can I get at least 20 minutes with that guy?
That's real.
So their issues felt like, oh, are we on the precipice of another divorce amongst this group? That's where I was at by fall. And then WTF with Ann and Jack kissing. That felt so random in the show.
First of all, I knew it was coming, and I also laughed heartedly at that. I was like, I
It's
knew they were gonna do some
ridiculous.
bullshit like this, and um, I, I was like, Kate, I wasn't even offended. I was like, oh, okay, sure, sure.
Because ain't nobody singing Nivea Don't Mess With My Man in this case, huh? She don't care.
But I don't think it's that she doesn't care, but I don't think she's threatened by Anne.
No, at all. But also, why? What? What? They would have the saddest little romance if they were to get
Listen,
together.
listen, exactly.
Do you think Kate crossed the line with her comments about Claude? Because she pissed Danny right on off.
No, I think Danny was all of a sudden very sensitive about his man. Like I genuinely was taken aback by Danny's behavior, but I felt like if anything, you know, he was feeling some kind of way and probably realized some of the errors of his ways.
Yeah.
And with Kate ragging on Claude, I don't think she said anything different, honestly, than before. I just think the timing was off. And Danny just decided to, hold that grudge.
He did. I respected it in the sense though of like, well, if this is the new mentality, then keep this energy because I don't want you talking shit about Claude anymore either. To your point, I think he's been teeing it up for her comments, for those thoughts about Claude, right? Like her comments are a reflection of the way you have talked about your husband. So if now we're at the point where that's no longer tolerated, cool. Just keep that same energy because I don't want to see this happen again. So by the end of this trip, Danny and Claude are good. Anne and Jack are headed, not Anne, Kate and Jack are headed to therapy. Winter, our final season. Anne's got custody of the gang for their annual New Year's cabin trip. And we talked about her getting her swag back, her mojo back. She brought along her new boo, Terry. The fact that Claude wasn't sure if he'd slept with that man, I did like this wasn't a couple I was
Crazy.
actively rooting for at this point.
Crazy. You're talking about Ann and Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think about Terry, but I knew they were going to have a problem with him and his acoustic guitar. The way they were staring down that guitar had me cracking up. I'm like, y'all are really the same people. But I was happy for her. I was like, and he was age appropriate. Yes, please. Yes.
Danny was so messy though when he was like, "Oh, Claude, I love this mystery for us." Like I
I
was like,
know.
"You are
He's so
so
messy.
messy."
I loved it. I loved it. It had me cackling.
So while they're at the cabin, Nick is spending time, and it was time with Jenny and her friends. God bless. The shrieking alone every time somebody else came was sending me. And the food would have pissed me clean off. I couldn't do
Easy.
it. I couldn't do. This is another one I'd be like, I'ma see y'all because I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go somewhere else. I need meat. I can't even use a knife because the food is gonna be soft. The fuck does that mean?
That was crazy. I wouldn't have patience for it either. And we're definitely closer to her age range. I mean, we are in the age range.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, I'm
that's
gonna go.
crazy.
I'm gonna go to the cabin with the 50 somethings. They know how to. They know how to live. So this clearly wasn't Nick's crowd or vibe, and that caused a fight with Jenny. And fair because Jenny has put up with these trips with his friends, a lot of shenanigans that have ensued. So he did need, in my opinion, to make more of an effort with Jenny and her friends as well. Tragically, Nick is killed in a car accident coming from a grocery store run. This is the second series that has killed Steve Carell in recent memory.
I'm like, WTF, where is this coming from? And more importantly, why are they making him a sympathetic character for me? Because I'm like, am I supposed to be rooting for this man who joyfully blew up his entire life and force fed his friends this new relationship. Like, I don't know if there was ever a time where I was like, oh, Nick, you're my fave. Absolutely not.
Oh no, he was never my fave, but did it make me happy that he got to live his best life for a little bit? It did. Because when
At the expense of everybody
I
emotion.
wouldn't say at the expense of everybody. Definitely at the expense of his wife and child there for a little bit. But
Yeah.
everybody, I'm not. I mean, Danny, Claude, Kate, and Jack will be fine. But sometimes you have to make these sorts of decisions. I just don't know if I would have done it exactly the way Nick did. But when I rewatched it the second time, I was like, he did say when he first said he wanted to leave Anne, like, life is short. And I said out loud, I was like, damn, Nick, shorter than you think for
Yeah.
you. You know,
Well,
you're going
yes.
soon,
Yeah, right.
like 8 months
And
later.
seriously, I just, I don't know. This show, this is where I was saying at the top of the recap, where it's like, this is one of those shows where everybody got something, right? No one is without fault. And it's like, who am I rooting for, if anyone? And he's
Claude.
definitely not one. Would you say
Claude.
Claude? Pretty much.
That's my
Pretty
numero
much.
uno is Claude.
Exactly. You know, the Zers love to call people baby girl. Claude is baby girl for me. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
protect Claude at all costs. Okay.
Yeah. Why the hell did they have Terry start performing when they were all on the couch trying to comfort Ando? I said, y'all are so unserious.
Yeah, that was funny. And shout out to Terry putting in work, okay? Because Anne deserves. Okay.
Terry was under them sheets, assed out, ready to do it, ready to make her happy. Appreciate it.
I was not expected to see his ass, but I was like, okay, sir, I appreciate the sentiment though.
I want to know what the conversation was in the hot tub, though. That's where we ended up because she said, "Claude, we need to talk," and then is this goodbye or is this hello? Like, what's happening?
Right.
So we got to get to this funeral, and it's awkward because again, Anne is now Nick's ex-wife, right? And so who is taking care of what and how arrangements need to be made
A
is
mess.
awkward.
He left a mess.
They shut Jenny out of the damn funeral. She couldn't even speak. Now those pictures for the slideshow, again, you ain't a child. You're 32 years
Read
old.
the
You
room.
know what is and is not appropriate for a funeral slideshow, ma'am.
Yeah, that was
Final,
ridiculous.
final twist though, to wrap the show. Everybody, not everybody, but at least Kate told Jenny, this is just a blip in your life. These 8 months, you're gonna go on, you're gonna find your person, you're gonna live. Well, Jenny is pregnant. So
Yep.
much for a blip. Give me your final thoughts on this wrap up, on Jenny, on the gang, on a potential season two.
Overall, the show was well made. The actors were amazing. And I definitely didn't see Nick being gone at all. Like, that was a surprise. I did actually go in cold, so I didn't know that the show was about one of the couples breaking up. So that I get a chance to experience everything, in real time, which I appreciate. I don't want anything to do with Jenny being pregnant in season two. Like, I know that's probably going to be a major plot point. I don't, I don't want it. I know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to stress myself out on how everyone's going to navigate and how to keep her included and stuff like that. Because why does Anne have to be the big person? I don't understand it.
Mm,
And that's where I'm like, this man cheated on her multiple times before he finally left her to live out his quote best life. Why is Nick living out his best life right now? You know, and maybe one could say, life happens to those who take it, right? Like he grabbed it by the horns, right? Because that was something Anne did not do. We learned that quickly. Honestly, it took him leaving for her to reevaluate what she wants to do in life. That's why we have a Terry. But at the same time, like, why was she responsible for the funeral? Like, seriously, she put it upon herself, but she didn't have to if she didn't want to.
She did not. I think she did it for her and for her daughter more than anything. But to her point, when she gave her speech, it was complicated, right? She loved him. She had a 25-year marriage to that man. So in death, it's complicated to navigate. I agree though on the thought that you said about why did she have to be the bigger person. I remember thinking that at that breakfast that they had during the fall school trip. I was like, why must she rise above? Why does she have to be the one that when they go low, we go high? Why
Right.
can't she go into the gutter? You know, it's probably a commentary on, the strength of women and da 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 ba 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 ba. That's why I'm glad the daughter got to have her rage moment of the
I
play
loved it. I loved it so
because
much.
sometimes you have to get this shit out, right? This is why we let stuff fester. This is why we carry trauma and baggage because sometimes you just got to let it fly. You got to let it rip. Like Anne had every right to curse that man out while he was living. She sure did. Thanks for the reminder that he cheated on her at least twice while they were actually still married. She deserved to cuss that man clean out for sure.
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you, is having an affair worse than calling LegalZoom?
No, I got her point. I understood what she meant, but absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he really was texting some rando, I would have been very disappointed in Jack.
Yeah. But I do understand her point of like when you are calling LegalZoom, that means you've made some decisions. Like,
He was exploring. I'd rather him explore legal options than somebody's ass. You know what I mean? That's a
and
bridge you can't come back from.
that's true. And I might have to adopt their New Year's celebration where they like celebrate New Year's based off the first countries that and
And then go to bed.
they gotta all right, Greenland, they're up first.
To be fair, when's the last time I celebrated New Year's? Maybe 2 years ago, I actually went out and I was like, I'm so over this. Like, let me be comfortable. I don't even care about watching a ball drop. Just keep me moving, keep it pushing. I don't even set resolutions anymore for New Year's. What did I say? I set intentions, something like that. I said, not
Yeah.
resolutions, but intentions for my year.
Yeah, I don't I do reflections in January and in July, and that's because of New Year's and my birthday. And it's like it's a good check-in point. You know what I mean? But I get that.
Yeah. Well, my final thoughts is definitely Claude was my fave. I think I
Yes.
gravitate towards nurturing, caring, kindness, and that was very much Claude. He brought such beauty to me as a person to the series. I enjoyed his energy, and I think that the rest of the characters had very relatable moments and very relatable things that they were dealing with. And I appreciated that. I appreciated their friendship and their dynamic. They made me want to start having more regular outings, vacations with my
Yeah.
friends because I'm like, you got to try your best to stay connected to the people that you
Yes.
love and have intention about that
Absolutely.
as you get older. So,
Hmm.
it's definitely a discussion about relationships and love, but also about friendships and love. And
Hmm.
those are some of my favorites. So I enjoyed this. I don't know if we really need a season two. I think it was fine to just wrap this up as is, honestly, because without Nick,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel whole
Right.
anymore. So we'll see. But this was delightful, unexpectedly delightful. So
I
thank you
agree.
guys. All right, Delora, that'll do it. Thank you guys so much. Let us know your thoughts on the four seasons when you catch it. Let's move on to Hidden Gems. What you got for the week?
All right, Ashley, I got nothing this week. It's been a busy few weeks, especially this last week and weekend. So, um, I'll gladly have something next recap.
All right, I'm literally in the same boat, guys. I have nothing. It is absolutely a busy season. May is crazy. So we will see what comes of hidden gems as we move forward and time allows. I will say something that I want to become a hidden gem, which is this Reliving Single podcast
Yes, I
that I'm
just started
very
following
excited.
them.
Yeah.
Same.
Cannot
Yep.
wait to dive into it. I think it just dropped on the 7th today as we're recording. So it's one that I think is going to be worth a listen if you guys have not heard about it just yet. So I'll put that on the hidden gems list as we haven't listened to it yet, but we definitely will be. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We appreciate it. Please share it out with everybody you know. Again, go ahead and get those tickets for the Dayton Black Women's Film Festival if you have not already.
Yes,
We will
yes,
see you
yes.
there. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll be back. But in the meantime, be blessed.
Bye.